radio home of Minnesota Sports is also on YouTube. Check out the KFAN YouTube channel for exclusive videos, in-depth takes, initials, and password games, and behind-the-scenes content. Search KFAN on YouTube and hit subscribe today.
Yeah, Genevieve, I don't know if you realize this, but when the microphones go off, you take stuff down. What do they talk about when you're not on the air? How sad. Sad, really.
Sad, really.
534 is brought to us by our friends at Willow River Company.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Brought to you by Willow River Company. Question number 1.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
What do you think of this Twins club now? What do you think of the Pohlad ownership? Are they spending enough money for you, Tanner?
Yeah, all they do is win. What'd you say?
Got a message for the Chicago White Sox.
Objects in your mirror may be closer than
I can't even believe I just said that. A message for the Chicago White Sox. Worst team in baseball the last 13, 14 years, or at least 2 or 3, and now they're in first place.
It's nice to be in the AL Central, isn't it?
It is. It really, truly is.
The Twins beat the Astros 5-4 last night in Houston. Royce Lewis, Victor Caratini hit back-to-back homers in the 4th inning. Josh Bell hit a 2-run shot in the 6th. And Zebby Matthews gave up 1 run over 7 innings and matched a season-high 7 strikeouts. Common, what sticks out to you from last night's Twins win?
Zebby Matthews. I'm not paying as close attention to Twins pitching. The Twins, in general, specifically, their starting staff. But Zebby Matthews, maybe I'll take a deeper dive into the, I read the Fish Wrap Factory, either East or West, I don't recall which one, the recap of the game. And they had some, his... I should look him up before I start spouting off statistics. I'll dial him up here. But he's pitched deep into games. He's pitched very well, and he says in the quotes in there, it was a lot of the help was he didn't make the opening day roster. He was not on the opening. He was in St. Paul, and apparently the St. Paul coaching staff. He took a long, hard look of where he's been, where he's going, where he's at, his preparation for games. He had this perfectionism, it says in the story, because I guess at the minors, he went 9,842 innings without ever walking anybody. So he started thinking, I've got it all figured out. I'm the cat's meow. And then he had this, and he says, it was Ober, I think he said, helped him with the idea, dude, you're not going to be, I don't know if this is exactly what he said, but it was to the point there, you're not going to be Cy Young every time you pitch. There are going to be days you don't have it. Get the women and the children out of the first 5 rows. You can't worry about being a perfectionist. So he's pitched well. And, one of the things that Pohlad pocket protectors were trying to, the point they were trying to drive home is, yeah, we're a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans and a terrible city, but we got a lot of highly regarded prospects. And they do have some, including Matthews, who at least to this point is now starting to pan out. We're now starting to see why he was at one point a highly regarded a prospect, because he's pitching well. And so, and then is it Popiel, the pocket fisherman guy who started their last game? Prelip. There's another guy. And when you think about it, sorry, my voice is cracking. Wait till we get, who's the guy we lost to injury all year? Lopez?
Yeah. Pablo.
What if Pablo comes back? Maybe in other words, I'm looking for silver linings.
By then, Joe Ryan will be playing elsewhere because we don't want to pay him. But Joe Ryan's going to want to say here he sees the foundation we are building, and we're going to be able to be a winner here eventually.
So I like Zebby Matthews. And the other guy that I think he's, other than Byron, he makes the most money. We signed him to a $7 million contract, the Josh Bell character, grizzled vet. It seems like every time I read a story about the Twins winning, he's hitting a home run. Yeah. What are his numbers? He seems to have really. I think we're getting our $7 million worth out of him. I think, and again, maybe there are games where he's in the clutch, he's striking out or grounding in double plays that I'm not seeing. But it seems like he's been
he's hitting 243, 10 homers, 53 RBI.
I think that's worthwhile, I think, right?
53 RBI in 83 games. That's a 100 RBI pace.
Yeah, so good for him. So, every time I want to bury this team, put them 6 feet under, they do something like, did I see that number? Is it 11 of their last 14 they've won? Hey, look, I'd be the first. I think there are people that think that, I want doom and gloom for the local clubs. Sometimes I think they deserve it because of how cocky they can be and their approach to playing sometimes. It annoys me so bad. I'm almost like, when the team is spiraling out of control, you guys deserve this. I'd like nothing better than the Twins to keep playing, to keep winning, stay in the thick of things, steal the Central, get a wild card or something, and then, at that point, all bets are off. Once you got the chip in a chair and a chance, and you got nothing to lose. No one's expecting anything out of you. So,
they've won like 9 of their last 14.
Yeah, 9 of
Unfortunately, they had the three game series against the Dodgers.
Yeah,
where they got swept.
Yeah, and only one of those. Were 2 games competitive? One was for sure.
2 of them were 2-1 and 4-3.
Yeah. So,
on a side note, can we get Zebby to get a Zorba's endorsement? Should he not be the spokesperson for Zorba's? I'm Zebby for Zorba's.
I'm Zebby for Zorba's.
Question number 2.
Or the Minnesota Zoo.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
I'm a Como Zoo guy.
I like Como.
Okay.
First zoo I ever went to.
The Wild opted not to tender restricted free agent Bobby Brink a qualifying offer by yesterday's deadline. So as of now, Brink could become an unrestricted free agent tomorrow at 11 a.m. According to Michael Russo of The Athletic, the Wild is likely working towards signing Brink to a contract lower than his going rate. Common, or the Wild making the right decision by not qualifying an offer for Bobby Brink?
You have to. I'll defer to you. It seems like Bobby's kind of, I don't want to say he's a polarizing figure. There's a lot of, do people have different opinions on what he brings to the club or not really?
I think there is a wide variety of people's opinions on what he can do. The other aspect of it is Bobby is the tail end of a trade that went really, really bad for the Wild.
Okay.
So the Wild traded a first, a second, a third, a fourth, and Damon Hunt for David Juracek.
Okay.
Who was a highly regarded defensive prospect who came here and didn't do a whole lot. And so the Wild, before the deadline, traded David Juracek to Philadelphia to bring in Bobby Brink. So Bobby Brink's kind of like now all you had left from giving up a first, a second, third, fourth. Now, we ended up getting Damon Hunt back in the future. But so I think there's people that are already upset if we just wasted all those assets. And guess what? When you're going for Dylan Larkin, it'd be nice to have those assets right now. And, of course, you gave up a bunch of assets in the Quinn Hughes trade. So I think there's people don't want to give up on Bobby Brink because he's the last end of that trade. But then also, he's more of a skill guy. He can skate. He's got speed. And I think people get frustrated when there's guys in the bottom 6 that aren't as good as scorers as Bobby Brink, but they're playing. Bobby, didn't play a whole lot in the playoffs. Now, he might have been injured as well, I thought I heard Russo say, so that might have had something to do with it. But I think people have these illusions like he could be a first-line guy and even a second-line, and I'm not sure of that. I kind of look at him as a middle 6 guy. Maybe potentially he could help out on your second line. So I'm with the Wild in the regard of if they would have given him a qualifying offer, it would have gone to arbitration. He could have gotten up to $4 million. And I like Bobby. I'd like him to be on the team. I don't want to give him $4 million. You can't, like, in a salary cap world, you're already up against it. I can't pay him for him. I'd rather spend that money elsewhere. So I don't know what Bobby's thinking, whether he just wants to go to unrestricted free agency now or if he's willing to sign with the Wild on a cheaper deal. My guess is I would, if I was him, I'd just go hit the open market and try to make as much as you can. But yeah, they risk losing him now.
If you want to sign Bobby Brink, don't pull up a truck that says Brinks.
Yeah, they're not pulling that truck up for him.
Oh, okay.
Question Question number 3.
All Vikings, let's win this game. You'll hear us yell for more.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the state of the skull.
Maybe I shouldn't have gone to this question because this is a Barrero-like question and we're short on time, but I'll throw it to you anyway.
I have a lot of food to eat.
Yeah, go ahead and eat. You can eat a whole meal on this one. Seth Walder of ESPN.com gave out his off-season report cards for all 32 NFL teams. He gave the Vikings a B-. Here's what he wrote. The best thing about the Vikings offseason is them signing Kyler Murray to a veteran minimums deal, which was possible due to his offsets from his contract with the Cardinals. It was a boon for Minnesota. Murray's services would be worth many millions more on the free market, and he provides an answer at quarterback in the wake of J.J. McCarthy's rough 2025 season. The Vikings released veteran defensive tackles Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen in March. Consequences of ill-advised spending on the aging veterans the prior year. Those transactions left a hole at defensive tackle, which perhaps is why Minnesota reached for Caleb Banks with the number 18 pick in the draft, far earlier than he was expected to go. The draft day predictor, by the way, gave Banks only an 18% chance to be selected in the first round. During the draft, the Vikings dealt Grenard, one of their best players, to the Eagles in exchange for 2 third-round picks. I don't think it was worth it, especially the current trade environment for high-end players. Despite only 3 sacks in 12 games last season, Grenard's 23.2% pass rush win rate at edge would have ranked 4th at the position had he qualified. The Vikings made a nice post-draft acquisition of Juwan Jennings on a 1-year, $8 million deal. That's good value for a number 3 receiver, especially one with the upside Jennings showed in 2024 when he averaged 2.5 yards per route run. Common, do you agree with the Vikings getting a B- off-season grade?
The grade things are always hard to qualify. He basically said they have the answer at quarterback. And that way he phrased that, like, well, they got the quarterback now, and I'm not convinced we do. If you told me would I like to start the season with McCarthy or Murray at quarterback, I'd say Murray. So I think it's a great acquisition, but I don't think it's like, we got our quarterback now. It's all solved.
I don't know if he was saying they had their quarterback. He was just saying he's very clearly good value given what you had to pay for him.
Well, good value. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I suppose. I don't know.
Which I would agree with that.
I'm kind of a negative, so I'd maybe give it a B, I think. I have to see how Murray plays, but yeah, that probably. I didn't like losing Grenard. I didn't. He was very productive in this Vikings defense. But 2 third-round picks is a pretty good. I think once you get after 3rd round, it gets a bit dicey. But anything in the first 3 rounds, I think is generally those are good. You can get some decent players. So, it's B's fine. B.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
And 534 was brought to you by my pals at Willow River Company. They are your outdoor living experts. They got arborists on staff, over 10 of them. They do a lot of tree work. They did it at my house. Trees are a very important part of your landscape. And if they start, my neighbor just had to take a couple of down in his property. So if you're looking for some tree care, I highly recommend the folks at Willow River Company. They also do elite lawn care program, ongoing plant bed maintenance. They do mowing and seasonal yard cleanup and so much more. They're a family-run operation. Ronnie started the company all those years ago with just a pickup truck and a tractor, and now they're a great, big, huge company. They're outdoor living experts. They're family-owned and operated. Come join the family. They'll treat you just like you're part of it. WillowRiverCompany.com. That's WillowRiverCompany.com.
Join KFAN's Max Fuller for a Team USA watch party this Wednesday. Catch Team USA action at Carboni's in Lakeville starting at 7 p.m. Enjoy drink specials and prizes while cheering on the red, white, and blue. We'll see you this Wednesday at Carboni's in Lakeville.
What's the name of the place again?
Carboni's in Lakeville.
And what time will that be?
7 p.m. is when that game starts.
And what day was that again? Oh, tomorrow?
That was tomorrow, yeah. I've been to Carboni's in Lakeville. Some of my favorite deep dish pizza you'll ever have.
I love Carboni's.
That's terrific.
I'm a pizza kind of a guy. What's the matter? Hey, what's the matter with you? A couple of 13-14 passed. I'm calm, and he's 10 to be the breaking news. I guess for me it's more. Sorry, I'm a. negative, but the big news of the day, LeBron James has informed the Lakers he will play elsewhere in 2026, 2027. He's a four-time NBA champ, four-time finals MVP. I think we saw this coming. There had been rumors over the past couple of days that they might want to put together, Barrero and I used to do Super Show. They want to put together a super octogenarian team. They want the oldies but goodies. They want to, the rumor is that Golden State wants to, I wouldn't be putting the band back together again because they've never really been together, but they want to do a little Draymond Green. Like, I think I'm confused. We talked about it yesterday. Draymond wants to be released and then come back. I don't understand, but they want to put a team of like Curry, Draymond, Street Clothes, and LeBron all on the same team, and maybe others, and try to make a run at a title. And this is probably that.
Are they playing on the seniors tour for basketball, or what are they planning on doing?
I don't know. James will be 42 in the upcoming basketball season. That's, again, it's a young man's game. We know that NBA, more than any of them, I think, seems to be really a young man's game. But, that's a lot of cunning and guile. And I suppose if you load manage them, they stay healthy, they will be playing without, I think, a lot of pressure because they've all those four players that we just mentioned, maybe not so much Street Clothes, though, he's probably missed more minutes than he's actually played minutes in his career in the NBA. And I don't know how many. Does he have world titles? I'm sure he must have something in the hopper. But we know LeBron does, Curry does, Draymond does. Who else? I don't know if there's other rumored names to be joining this clique. But, because they've had the wine women in this song, they're just doing it as sort of a, hey, this is the twilight of our career. Let's see, hey, all of us together, how much fun could this be? So,
Can they get Clay back?
Well, anything's possible. What I don't understand, and maybe you can explain this to me, and that's probably where I should have done some research, but do you think I should research LeBron James or go play golf? Which one are you going to do?
I didn't even have golf, and I chose not to research LeBron James.
But LeBron, he says, well, I'm not coming back. Is he a free agent? Or is he just saying, I'm not coming back, you have to trade me?
No, he's going to be a free agent.
He's going to be a free agent.
Yeah.
So he wants to leave. I was already asked I was over at the sales stable during one of the first breaks of the show. I had to ask some questions of a salesperson. By the way, if you'd like to advertise on the Fan, if you'd like Tennessee or me to endorse your products, we'd like to sit down and have a conversation with you. We truly would. Or if you just like to advertise in general, but it's not an endorsement, go ahead and go to, is it marketing?
At KFAN.com.
At KFAN.com. Marketing at KFAN.com. And just send us an email and we'll have one of our finest.
Even if you hate us, but you just want to advertise on the Power Trip.
Power Trip Morning Show, but who wouldn't want to be on the Power Trip Morning Show? Go ahead and go to marketing at KFAN and inquire within. What were we just?
And if you're Zorbas and you'd rather have us endorse you as opposed to Zebby Matthews,
Zorbas with the Z.
Marketing at KFAN.com.
I've told you that baby brother Peter and my lovely wife and the mother of my two children, Potato, Deuce and I Deuce is more like me and Pete's more like his mom, and so like when Deuce and I get near Brainerd and we see a Zorbas, then it triggers our memory. So we just we'll do it for like hours on end until they just say, "Would you guys shut up?"
Doesn't surprise me.
Zorbas, where should we go out on Gulls Lake? Well, it's not Gulls, but every S we just do a real hard.
Where should we zupper?
Yeah, where should we zupper? And then we will do that over and over and over again. Talking to the guys at the sales stable, maybe we could get LeBron here. I know that LeBron and I think Anthony Edwards get along. That's a mutual admiration society. But, it'd be cool. I mean, now that would be a move.
I think we would have heard about it by now, right? I mean, it was Shams was already reporting LeBron has interest in Golden State. Even like John Krasinski has said, it ain't going to happen here.
Yeah. But it would be interesting.
Sure.
I could get behind that.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those trades,
I don't know how we afford them, but.
Right. Some of those trades, you go, yeah, it sounds good, but I don't know. The guy's more trouble than he's worth. But to bring LeBron to Minnesota would be fun. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. If that
He's taking his talents to Minnetonka Beach.
Yeah, if that becomes a reality, let's say they do put together some kind of a super team. He signs with Golden State. I would, the pecking order I would say would be, you pick your, to me it's a coin flip with San Antone and Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. I think they're both young, they're both deep. I like both teams. I think that's right now until the salary cap crunch and the salary. What are they? The apron, second apron, all those salary cap ramifications come into play for those two teams. Those two teams they're 1-2 in the teams to beat. I would think the Lakers, if they're the Warriors, if they were able to put together LeBron and Curry and street clothes and keep Draymond, and maybe they squeeze somebody else in there too. Maybe they get another old guy. Maybe they get another like a Jimmy Harden or something. I don't know. I would say even with the age there, not having played together, it is just basketball at the end of the day. I'd put that team as number 3 on the list, and I don't know where I'd put the Wolves for sure because I just don't know what the LaMelo, Anthony Edwards combination is going to look like. On paper, it's exciting. 2 young guys with a guard that apparently can, he doesn't mind giving up the ball. Pardon the pun. LaMelo Ball doesn't mind giving up the ball, and if he can stay healthy, that could be a great backcourt combination. It'd be sweet. That still doesn't solve the Wolves' problems in the front court, unless they were to maybe reacquire Big Meow. Oh my gosh! But I don't think that's in the cards. What did they do? Because there's no Nas, right? He's gone. Who else? I mean,
we're looking for a big man, and we don't have any more assets to give away for trade.
No. So maybe we.
By the way, marketing idea for the Timberwolves.
Okay.
So that they can go over the second apron, can they sell Timberwolves aprons?
Wait, hold on. Let me give you first a rim shot, and then maybe
buy an apron for us to go over the apron. That's how you can afford a LeBron.
We'll send that to Rewrite and have them punch it up. But yeah, I mean anything to make it extra, get an extra dollar. I want to briefly talk. I'm not going to make a whole segment out of it, but the other side of the break, just kind of piggyback what we've been talking about just the idea of putting teams together at just your women fancy. So we'll do that on the other side of the break. Plenty of other topics to get to as well. It's the Common Man program with Tenneby and Common right here at the Fan.
The Common Man.
Your chance to score a Mall of America Summer Mystery Prize is back. Grab one at any of our KFAN events or anytime you see the KFAN street team this summer. Then redeem it at Mall of America for discounts and exciting prizes. Check out upcoming events at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
I've mentioned him a number of times here on the Grum. Bobby Nightingale. He's beat writer for the Twins, for the Fish Wrap Factory on the West Side. Does a really good job. I think he started by covering the Cincinnati Redlegs, and now he covers the Twins. And he talked about Zebby Matthews' performance last night. I mentioned that in this piece, Matthews was talking about how there was a time where he was striving for perfection, and the story says striving for perfection served Matthews well in the minor leagues. He had a stunning rise from Class A to the majors in 2024, a season he started with 0 walks through his first 6 starts, 141 batters. But once he got to the big leagues, he struggled with consistency. He entered this season with a 5.92 ERA, 25 starts. Matthews said, having that streak, the no-walk streak, it was good because it got me here, but I also may have had a little too much confidence there for a little bit. It's tough to say. I think everybody up here is always trying to find a way to improve and take the next step. I think this is a big step for me. He says he believes his self-talk on the mound contributed to some innings snowballing out of control in previous seasons. And I wonder what he means by self-talk. Is he talking to himself? I've got to have this pitch. Because you know me, I have self-talk. I don't like to talk about myself or use myself as an example or an analogy or comparison, but you've often said to me, Common, when you say, I've got to have this putt, more times than not, I watch you bury it. Why don't you say that more often? Well, I think if you say it too many times, like the boy who cries wolf, you're eventually going to miss them. He says, honestly, it was to the point where I knew I couldn't keep being so hard on myself. And he credited conversations with Bailey Ober. It wasn't sustainable. I could do it during the minors and get away with it up here some, but if I want to have a career up here, it's trying to be better about it. And then the pitching coach, the Mackey character, says, that's something everyone has to discover on their own. We've tried to help and maybe it's worked, but you've got to come to that on your own. And you look at these numbers that he's had this year. Last night, he matched a season high with 7 strikeouts during the 5-4 win. It was the bullpen that gave up the runs for the bullpen's just been awful. If they could fix this bullpen, and that was they blew up the bullpen last year. I think they ended up getting some nice prospects by the pitchers they traded out of the bullpen, but it certainly isn't. It certainly isn't helping now. But here's where it says the numbers this year. Where are they here? I can't find him now, but he's give me 1 second. Give me a little yeah, thank you. Here it is. Matthews has allowed 2 or fewer runs in 4 of his 5 starts this month. 2 or fewer runs in 4 of his 5 starts. That's mighty impressive. Those are ace-like numbers to me. It also said just during the whole, it's something about, I can't find it now, but he's like pitched deep into most games. I think he's pitched, I think it was and maybe I'm wrong here, but I thought it said like in every start he's had, he's gotten to 6 innings, which again, in this day and age, especially when pitchers,
especially with our bullpen. Yeah,
with our bullpen, pitchers just generally don't get that deep into, to the game anymore. But, here's the, if you're a Twins fan or a baseball fan, even casual, and you're kind of trying to gauge, with the American League in general, and specifically the American League Central not being very strong, once again, I think like of the 15 teams, like there's only 3 or 4 that have an above 500 record. It's crazy, but it says, but if you're watching the Twins, thinking, hey, you know what, just keep hanging around and. Who knows? You get on a winning streak late in the season. You steal the division or wild card berth. But here's what's a bit concerning. It says Byron Buxton, a finalist to be voted as a starter for next month's All-Star game, was out of Monday's lineup because of a right hip impingement. Buxton, who missed 5 games because of a similar hip injury in May, underwent a magnetic resonance imaging exam Monday. And the manager, the Shelton kid, says, we're just going to see how he is day to day. And, Buxton has had an injury-riddled career. I mean, I don't think that's I think that's accurate to say. I mean, he's had, I think 1 year, was that last year or a couple of years ago, he played like 140. Another time he had 100. Then after that, it's just been hit and miss. He just doesn't play for various injuries. A lot of them, try-hard injuries, crashing into the wall. They try to make diving catches. Next thing you know, some body part gets injured and he can't play. I just don't feel like the team has enough margin for error without a Buxton healthy and in the lineup for the entire season. And keep your fingers crossed, postseason play, they can't do anything without him. He has been, that's why he's a possible finalist. This could be his finest year in his career, I think. And they need that to continue. And they've had other guys that are playing pretty well. And it's fun to watch. But and then here's what will be interesting. I've sort of poked fun and chided Tom Pohlad, who's now running the club. He took over for Joe this season, and he was miffed that Vegas had the over/under at 73 or 75 games, whatever it was. He expected the team to contend. Well, I don't know if they're contending. I don't know if this is how he envisioned it, to be several games under 500 and still be in the thick of the race for the American League Central and for a wild card spot. But they are there, and I don't know, Tenby, I can't do the math, but I think they're probably on pace to get the over rather than the under. But what will be the telltale sign? He has said, and that they've got some damage control to do with the Twins fan base. He readily admits it, and I think most Twins fans would agree. I think everybody's in agreement with that. They haven't always had the best bedside manner when it comes to ownership. They haven't always done what I think most people feel they should do, and you and I are kind of in this age of Aquarius thing. We know that they can't spend. They're not going to have the largest payroll in baseball year after year. No one expects them to. I don't even expect them to do it even one year. But when your team is, like, again, coming off that playoff appearance of a few years ago, and then all of a sudden they right-size the payroll, the infamous words of Joe Pohlad, and cut payroll, and then let Sonny Gray walk, and it's like, what are you doing? You'd built up all this goodwill. The fan base was actually, Twins baseball was relatively relevant again. And then all of a sudden it's not. You pulled the rug out from under the fan base. But so he knows they have to do it. It'll be interesting to see come trade deadline time. It seems like the biggest weak spot right now is the bullpen.
Yeah.
They're tearing the cover off the ball for the most part, are they not? They're hitting. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect any phase of the team to be any good. I really didn't. Offense, defense, special teams, none of it was. I expected a terrible season. And so even to this point, even though they're under 500, it's actually better than I thought they'd be. I didn't think we'd be talking about they just won 9 of 14. I didn't think we'd have any kind of stretch like that. But and the starting staff is. I'm surprised. Popiel, no. Prelip, Zeb Matthews, let's go, let's play. And then
Joe Ryan, obviously.
Yeah, Joe Ryan.
Ace.
Yeah. Can you make it last? Will they go into the trade deadline and try to acquire real bullpen help? Go to some of those teams that have good middle, they have talented middle relief guys. Maybe somebody that's got a pretty good closer that they're just not in contention. Like, that's why the Twins blew it up. We traded Duran because we had no need for a closer. You're not closing games. He just sits in the bullpen. He's like the Maytag repairman. There's nothing to do. You're twiddling your thumbs out there in the playing mumbly peg.
Well, as you mentioned, though, like, you and I have criticized ownership and the team when what I always forget your Aquarius line.
The age of when the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars.
So I would also say this year, I don't think they should be adding a bunch of pieces. Now, could they add pieces that could slide them into a wild card spot? Sure. They are well behind. They are not even close to winning a championship, right? They're not. Yeah. They are not close to contending. That would take multiple pieces. So what are we really getting? What are we going to gain out of adding a bullpen guy or two?
So you say just
well, you got to recognize years where you're mediocre or not good, and then that can be a year you don't have to go out and add a bunch. Now, if you want to add players that'll be on the roster for the next couple of years, then sure, go ahead and add. But in terms of like just doing like a rental to try to upgrade your bullpen for a year, and I get it, it's hard to watch this bullpen, and they're atrocious, and they've cost us lots of games. But they are not contending with the top teams unless they had multiple massive additions.
Well, how many top teams are there in the American League?
Well, in the American League, there's not as many.
That's my point. So, and when you have driven the franchise into the ground, with poor ownership, this would be your chance. Like you say, chances of winning a world title are slim to none, and the old saying, slim left town, is appropriate here. But at least you would be saying to the fan base, hey, this is what you wanted when we're in a spot where we can grab a playoff spot. You've wanted us to go out and make significant moves to improve the team. And you can be, as ownership, I mean, look at the Wild and the Wolves. They think they're really close. Now, they have proven it by the last couple of regular seasons. I get that. But if you look at the way the offense is, I'm going to sound like I'm a pull-out pocket protector, and I'm a ducky and a bunny. If you look at the way the offense is performing, look at their offensive stats right now. And they do have young players on the team. It's not like they're doing this with a bunch of veterans. I mean, Buxton's a veteran. Josh Bell's a veteran. Those two guys have been contributing mightily to the cause. They got a lot of other younger players that are still, if they have a prime, they're approaching it. If you think Precept, that's a golf ball. What's the kid's name?
Prelip.
If you think he's for real, Zebby Matthews is for real. If you like Ober, Pablo Lopez coming back, Joe Ryan, we have several other young arms. Let's play. If you can beef up the bullpen, not just for this year, but for the long term. Well, now maybe you got a team where you can say going into next year, you go, hey, at least it's interesting. At least, we have a lineup that you don't have to be embarrassed about. And
they are fifth in the majors in runs scored.
Fifth in the majors.
Tops in the American League.
If they had a bullpen, I don't know. You would be sending a signal to the fan base. And isn't it just as important to send a signal to the fan base that, because then if it, like you say, well, what are the chances you might want to, but if you sit on your hands again, they look at Tom Poland and said, you're no different than Joe. You're no different than Rob, Chip, and Ernie. You know, the three sons of Carl. You run the franchise. You talk a good game, but when it comes time to improve the club, you do nothing about it. Yeah, we don't have a great chance, but this team is only they've been to one ALCS since the 91 World Championship. That's it. So I would rather that they. And you know what? If you believe the Pollad pocket protectors in that we have, it's an embarrassment of riches with our farm system right now. An embarrassment of riches. We have everyday players, bullpen guys, short relievers, long relievers. We got starters. We have also, well, if we do, then you can part with a couple of prospects to get some real bullpen help. But you're right, it could end up being all for naught. There's
only 3 teams in Major League Baseball that have given up more runs than they have.
Yeah. That's their problem. It's the bullpen. I mean, they had the 7-0. Wasn't it a 7-0 lead the other night and almost blew that game? Last night they were up 5-1. They almost blew that game. And they have blown games because they don't have a good bullpen. Now, get 2 quality bullpen guys, does that solve everything? And all of a sudden we're asking the question, do you like parades? Well, probably not. More than likely not. I'll say no, we're not, but at least it's just so. I was a ball guy at one time. It was my favorite sport growing up as a kid. And I'd like to be a ball guy again, but they've made it very, very difficult to do. Here's a question for you regarding the Wild. It says, does Minnesota's own Anders Lee interest Tennessee for the Wild? He informed the Islanders that he would be seeking free agency. This comes from Ed in St. Paul. Anders Lee, your thoughts? Yeah,
and even Russo responded to that tweet that,
he did.
That the Wild are interested in him.
Okay.
Now, he's obviously hitting free agency. He has his options. I'm not sure what he's looking for financially. That'll be the question mark. If he's willing to, his play has declined a little bit. He's getting up there in age.
Is he a forward?
Yes, he's a wing.
He's not a center, okay.
No. But if he wants to come back home, he played for Edina and St. Thomas Academy in high school. was a speed skater growing up, decorated high school athlete in terms of state championships, also played football. He is a big, strong, I don't want to say kid because he's
right
30-ish, whatever, years old. But would I have interest in him on like a second line here? Yeah.
Okay.
I would. You're probably going to get him on a short-term deal. And like I said, depends on how much he's asking for. If he's, we're at the point now where we're trying to hit the bargain bin a little bit.
Yep.
And we want guys, but there's opportunity here. If you're a guy who's wants to be a top 6 winger, there's available spots here, or a top 6 center, and you have a chance to win. And you're going to be playing probably with some pretty good players. You get to play the Boldy, maybe. You get to play with Kaprizov. If they go get a Dylan Larkin, you can play with him. So I think this would, other than the money part, I do think this would be an alluring spot for someone of his ilk. And I do think, I mentioned when I was doing the Tenna Fitzgerald, I had Gorgon a week or two ago, whatever that was. I mentioned how both Matt Boldy and Kirill Kaprizov, they are stars who are able to go in there and kind of muck and grind a little bit. Mm-hmm. But it would be nice if they didn't have to do that all the time.
Right.
And, part of Kaprizov playing with Zuccarello is, Zuccarello's not going to go in there and battle in the corners and come out with pucks. Boldy was playing with Johansson, who's not going to go in the corners and battle for pucks. It would be nice to put one or both of them, at least with a guy who does have the skill level to play with them, but also can get into corners and win some of those battles. Or, Anders can do, some net front stuff that those two aren't necessarily going to do all the time. And maybe take a little bit of the load off of those two so they could hang out in the scoring areas a little bit more.
You mentioned the word favorable. I think you said favorable, contracts. Did you get a favorable response from your better half? All right, nothing yet.
We're coming. We're coming.
I was waiting until commercial break.
What's the number in your head?
I literally haven't swung a golf club since Hazeltine, and that did not go well. So, those bad thoughts Zebby Matthews had in his head last year?
Right, yeah.
I need to find a way to find the driving range over the next couple of days before we tee it up on Sunday.
The one good thing, though, is that Prestwick isn't quite as difficult as Hazeltine National. I mean, Prestwick has this challenge. You have to earn everything you get. At any golf course you play, you have to earn it. But it's also
a course I'm familiar with. Yeah. I do think there is something to that.
Oh, sure there is.
Knowing how the holes play and where to hit the ball and where your misses can be.
I'm transitioning. Does that bother you? I mean, if I play a couple of golds,
I'll play them. I don't care.
But you can play. No, you can play what you want to play because I
ain't good enough right now to be playing too far back.
Yeah.
But
well, some of the golds are just. I just feel like I just don't want to hit 4.
Like what holes are you hitting gold on?
Well, 5 and 15 for sure. I mean, those are. I can't get there in 2 even if I kill my drive. I just can't anymore. I'm sorry, And today I hit a couple of gamma ray 4 woods into greens, but I don't want to hit 4 woods into greens. You're not supposed to be hitting 4 woods into par 4s. You're supposed to be hitting 8 iron, 5 iron, 6 iron, 7 iron. Occasionally
a variety.
Yeah, variety. And maybe if you don't hit a very good drive, you may have to on a longer par 4. But if I just crush my drive, for me, crushing it, and then I still got 190, that's not the way to play golf. So we'll blend it.
It's a lot more fun to score.
It's way more fun to score. We'll mix it up.
Fun.
Let's have fun. And if we're having fun, the rest of the foursome will be having fun. So let's go ahead and take, one last question for it. It says, who the heck is Street Clothes? That's Anthony Davis. That was the nickname given to him by Charles Barkley.
One of the best nicknames ever given.
Called him Street Clothes because he's.
I would say Shoeless Joe Jackson and Street Clothes, my favorite 2 nicknames.
Correct. And my third would be Bobby Boogaloo Watts.
Well, that's pretty good.
I don't even know why. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back 1 more hour to go. It's the Common Man program with Tenna and the Common Man right here on the Fan.
The Common Man.
I got about 10 minutes in. I'm like, I am way too tired.
That's
this
exactly
is not moving fast enough for me.
Weekday.